What's up? You're watching Drink This Tonight. And tonight I'm here with my buddy Josh. We're going to be taste testing rums. We're going to find out which ones we like, which ones we don't like.
And which ones we like a little too much.
So we have my entire rum collection here. I think this is pretty good for a home rum collection. They're in no particular order. The order that I took them out of the closet. We're just going to pour them and we're going to tell you what we think. You're going to get our raw, unfiltered reactions. So this is Ziya. I've had this before. It's a blend of 12 aged rums. We made some punch, I think, for a party, and we needed a lot of rum, like 3 bottles. So we ended up getting this. Anyway, I'm gonna pour it out. I'll serve you first. Also, Josh is a pirate.
It's true.
I haven't even drank it yet. Oh, you drank it all? What do you taste?
Well, it's got a distinct smokiness. I don't know what kind of barrels they age these in, but it does have an
oak.
An oaky wood.
It's definitely aged in oak.
It's smooth. It's got a certain amount of butterscotch, brown sugar aspect.
I kind of get the taste of cardboard, though.
Well, that might just be the packaging.
It's packaged in glass.
I've never eaten glass. Maybe glass tastes like cardboard.
That's true.
When I drink things, I have opinions. Just like you guys.
You tell us what you think. If you've ever had Ziya, let us know. What do you rate this out of 10? Out of pirate.
Oh, well. From a scale of 0 Blackbeards to 10 Blackbeards, I'd give it 8 Blackbeards.
8 Blackbeards. You heard it here first, folks. Next is Myers. People always say, like, oh, Myers, it's corporate, man. It's industrial. So
but maybe the reason they could go industrial and corporate is because
it's because it's good.
It's pretty good.
We're gonna find out once and for all if it's good or not. All right, right here. We're doing science. Pour you first.
He's such a gentleman.
I am. That's what they say about me. All right, there's only a little bit left. You might have gotten a little bit more.
Did you know the best way to drink any hard liquor is to pour the rest of the bottle into your cup?
The best way to drink it is to drink a lot, but responsibly. All right, cheers. Okay, already I'm getting a lot more
It's much
pungency.
more fragrant.
Yeah.
I would suspect it has a higher alcohol content.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's the case.
But that's the thing about suspicions. Sometimes they're not accurate.
Well, the way you make rum will have a big bearing on the flavor that ends up in it. So there's 2 ways to make rum. There's column stills and there's pot stills. So pot stills are like just a big old fucking copper pot, and they put it in there and it goes, and then you catch the distillate. But it's not as pure. Whereas if you use like a big distillation column, it really purifies it. The pot still rums tend to have a lot more of that funkiness going on. I doubt that this is a pot still rum. Maybe it is. Distilled in the traditional pot still method. See? It says it right on the back. Oh, I don't like that now that I taste it. I like the aroma. It tastes bland though. It tastes corporate, man.
It tastes like corporate greed.
It has all of that aroma, but then it doesn't translate into the actual flavor when you drink it. Maybe you feel otherwise.
The truth is, when I drank this one, first one here, Ziya, it was very smooth. I enjoyed it. This one, I don't enjoy it as much.
I don't enjoy it as much.
On a scale of 1 to 10, somewhere in the 4 to 5 range.
4, 5 pirates?
4 Blackbeards, 5 pirates. Because he's, you know.
He's more than one pirate, let's be honest.
It's true. There's Blackbeard and then there's his beard. So he's really like 1.3 pirates.
Oh, I had more rum too. I have another bottle. I need to get another bottle. We're going to have to add one. So I propose that as we're going, we rank these in order of what we like the best to what we like the least. So I think we're in the right order so far. We both agreed that the Ziya is better than the Myers.
That's a safe.
Because the Myers tastes like corporate greed.
Which, just to clarify, means.
And by the way, if Myers wants to sponsor this video, we can probably take that back. The next one is Mount Gay Black Barrel. Most supermarkets that I've been to carry Mount Gay, and they have 2 kinds. Generally, they have the cheap kind, and then they have this kind. Deeply roasted and charred bourbon oak barrels. So they take the oak barrels and they burn the shit out of them. And that technique actually releases aromas of spice balanced with oaky vanilla and almond overtones.
Almond?
Overtones. Those are the signature notes of this smooth and refined Barbados rum. Let's try it. It's also a combination of pot stilled and column stilled. So I get a little bit of honey, amber. I want to say almond overtones, but I don't smell that. I just read it on the bottle. It smells good.
It does. Whereas the, I think it's time to slide this one over. Slide.
We haven't even tasted it yet.
But I can tell you from the aroma, it's much less astringent.
You know what it smells like? It smells like vanilla extract.
It does. It has, now of course vanilla extract is 2 ingredients, vanilla and high proof alcohol. This has alcohol. It does smell like vanilla. That's a pretty fitting metaphor, or comparison, I guess.
43% ABV. Oh, that's complex. It tastes woody, like sawdust.
Well, I don't know if I would have said sawdust specifically. That's a very specific type of wood. What I would say is that by charring the bourbon barrels to a large degree, perhaps that aids in some of the transfer of wood flavor. It's not overly sweet. It's well balanced, and it's not just one note. It's not just, oh, this tastes like this one thing. There's a few different things. So drink it, try it, let us know what you think. What do you notice when you drink it?
I think it expresses a lot of the character of the aging rather than the fermentation.
I think I would rate it 6 out of 10.
I think I would probably say the same thing.
We still have a lot to try.
I almost said 7.
6.5, 6 Blackbeards, 7 Pirates.
Yes. I'm opening up a new bottle. My girlfriend got this for me for Christmas. I'm unfamiliar with it. It's a plantation Barbados rum, aged 5 years. It says on the back, it's got a 3-day fermentation. It's a combination of pot distilled and column distilled rum. It's minimum 5 years in bourbon.
I was burping. Just settling my stomach, you see, to make room for more rum.
Yes, I can smell. That might screw
It
with
has
my taste
almond
buds.
overtones.
Almond overtones. Open
Adam,
up.
I have a question.
What?
Others might as well. Is Barbados one of the larger rum-producing parts of the world?
It produces at least 2 of the rums on this table.
He's never wrong.
I've never had plantation before. Maybe I've had it in cocktails and I didn't know. But this is my first time tasting it straight up.
So this one's a little bit less fragrant than Mount Gay.
I like the taste though. Not overly oaky. Fruity, I guess?
Sweetness, but not overpoweringly so. Fruity was not the term that came to mind immediately for me. I think this has more vanilla aspect than the Mount Gay, perhaps. It is complex in that there's not one distinct flavor ringing out. I think it's rather well balanced.
It's not beating you over the head in any one direction or another.
It would be good in a cocktail if you wanted something that wasn't an overpowering rum
If
flavor.
you wanted an aged rum that wasn't overly expressive. I think I'd put it below Mount Gay, but above Myers.
I agree. I would say, whereas this was 7 Pirates, 6 Blackbeards, I would say this is probably
5?
5 Blackbeards.
5 Blackbeards.
5 Blackbeards and an unknown number of regular sailors.
This one is Gosling's Black Steel. It's a dark rum. This is the darkest rum we've tasted so far. Except maybe Myers. Myers is a dark rum as well. Comes from Bermuda.
Gosling's or Myers, which do you think is more corporate? Gosling's is like Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Also, America's Cup. Did you know that Gosling's is the official rum of America's Cup? How's that for corporate? Ooh, okay.
Certainly more aroma, but is that a good thing?
I don't know. This is getting harder the more I have.
Ooh, very dark. I think it's darker than Myers rum.
Ooh, okay. So this is, I didn't get anything on the nose, but when I tasted it, molasses.
100%. I was going to say molasses as well. That's the dominant flavor of this rum.
Molasses, 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 molasses.
That's a
not
fun
bad.
word to say. Try saying molasses that many times in a row. What was that?
I bet
4?
you can't even do it.
Molasses. Can't get 4 out in a row. That's why he's the champ. He can say molasses
4 times. I can say it 4 times. I like this. I like that flavor. Now, it's not perfect for everything, but if
you want to add a sweetness
yeah,
to a cocktail.
not that it's sweet. I think it's the perceived sweetness. The flavor of the molasses makes you think you're tasting something sweet.
Well, it's not sugary.
It's not sugary.
It doesn't have any of that like mouthfeel to it. I perceive that it has sweetness. He perceives that it has perceived sweetness.
I perceive the perception. I actually like this. I really do.
Truthfully, it's not my favorite, but of the two very dark rums we've tasted, I prefer it over this one.
But between two dark rums, I think this has the advantage.
Now, this one here, this is the first one we tasted, Ziya. And it is also, it's fairly similar in terms of its appearance of darkness, which is
You
not...
just blew my mind, dude. Ziya is almost as dark as Black Seal.
Did you
also,
know
I taste honey.
Rumpelstiltskin actually
I'm the
fell
only one
asleep
still
for
doing the
50
tasting.
years. I'm drinking, I'm tasting, but I'm just sharing knowledge.
Yeah, well, I found
Rumpelstiltskin
honey.
was actually drunk on rum when he fell asleep for 50 years.
He fell asleep for 50 years?
Yes,
How did he do that?
a lot of rum.
Let's get back to business.
Okay.
And we'll taste the rum. The enemies, the Huns. Did you see the way they were depicted?
It was very offensive.
Yeah, they look like monsters, but they're not. Mongolians are people too.
Also, monsters are occasionally people too.
How many pirates did you give this one? I think I've made up my mind where it goes.
I think I have too. Should we say it out loud at the same time? That might be amusing.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
7
6 pirates.
Blackbeards.
Ooh, 7 Blackbeards. That's like a lot of pirates.
So where do you think it goes on the scale? I'm thinking it might even outdo Mount Gay Black Barrel, or maybe it goes here.
It certainly is time to slide this one down and this one down. It could be here.
Unless, of course, Myers.
Myers, you still have a chance.
Yeah, I might change my mind.
Smith & Kross traditional Jamaican rum. It says London, which means that it's traditional, it's distilled in Jamaica, but produced in the United Kingdom. I'm a little confused what that means. Produced in the United Kingdom by Smith & Kross, parentheses, overseas.
Oh, okay. So we have a multinational corporation involved here. And the tables have turned.
Metaphorically, this table is still very stable.
This one's not that stable. It's
Oh wait, the bottles.
semi-stable. Don't bang the bottles, they hate that. I have to say, I am familiar with this rum. It's quite well known. It's produced in the style of Jamaica rums that is not generally done anymore, which is to use the old pot still method. But what they will do is they'll take the leftovers from the fermentation and they'll put it into a vat and they'll let it sit there. And then they'll take some of that and they'll put it into the next fermentation. And that tends to give you a lot of, so the shit just sits there in the vat. They call it muck because that's kind of what it is, and it ferments and it gets gross. But then the flavor compounds from that, when you actually ferment it, they turn into esters, which gives it all of the fruity kind of tropical fruit aroma that you get in a rum. People often refer to rum as being funky, and this is probably one of the funkier rums that you're going to find out there. Drinking in September. What do you think? It's got a lot of aroma, doesn't it?
It does.
Probably the most aromatic of all of the rums.
I think that that's true. Likely having to do with, as you described, the traditional fermentation muck funk process.
Ooh, that is strong.
Truthfully, that almost reminds me of a scotch.
This is good. This is a sipping rum.
Using this in a cocktail might be a misapplication of this rum.
Well, I'll tell you what it worked well in. If you're doing a punch where you have a lot of acidity and a lot of sugar, and you want something to punch through all of that, I don't know. I might like to drink this on the rocks. What is the proof on this baby? Navy strength.
Did you know that people in the Navy, when they drink, they like to get drunk?
57% alcohol.
The proof is in the
To
pudding.
knock you on your ass.
It has a very smoky, dark flavor, even though it's not the darkest visually.
I think this is phenomenal. It's very pungent. There's like an aftertaste that I'm getting. It's very fruity, like a mango, cantaloupe. This is a phenomenal rum.
Blackbeard would approve.
I think it deserved 9 Blackbeards.
I was thinking 8 Blackbeards, but 9, it's hard to argue with. Whoop. Whoop.
Move everything else down. That was phenomenal. Very good job, Smith & Kross. If you're watching this, you don't even need to sponsor us. You're number 1. Unless Myers sponsors us, and then you're number 2. 1 bottle left.
One might also call this corporate.
Yeah.
Bacardi. You may have
The
heard of it.
corporatist of corporate.
This one is called Maestro de Ron.
I have to admit, I really like this rum. It's the only silver rum in our collection here.
This rum is made in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's where all Bacardi is made. Used to be made in Cuba, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened in Cuba, and then they relocated. Bacardi is one of the oldest rum producers.
Now this bottle has the number 1862 imprinted on it, which means one of two things. Bacardi was established in 1862, or we stumbled upon one of the most valuable bottles of rum ever, because it's from 1862, and we're gonna drink it.
I think it's the second one. All right.
It has a fragrance, but as it is a clear or a silver rum, it doesn't have any of that molasses or almond overtone or
Almond
syrup
overtones.
or honey. There is a fragrance, but it's closer to that of gin, juniper perhaps. There is definitely a little bit of a scent.
To me, it tastes pretty vanilla. After tasting all of these other rums, and I don't mean it tastes like vanilla, I mean it's just plain.
It is plain.
Probably the polar opposite of the Smith & Kross. Since we rated this #1, it's probably, I would say we're probably biased against a neutral spirit like this.
It's not bad, and sometimes a white rum just isn't as tasty on its own because that's not what it's meant for. I would give it 4 black beards.
I'd probably give it 5.
5 it is. I think that's reasonable. I was lowballing it.
I'd go there too. And maybe we just don't like light rum.
Taste is subjective.
But here's the thing, this was aged. So why doesn't it taste like an aged rum?
Perhaps it has to do with the filtering.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Perhaps it was aged for 3 days. Does it specify how long it was aged?
Yeah.
Did it say 3 days?
No.
Oh.
At least a year. So it hasn't been aged a long time. Such is life.
It's filled with mysteries. I do recommend if you're going to sample all of these different bottles of rum, you do it with a friend, because debating with a friend is a lot more entertaining and interesting than debating with yourself.
Well, what did we learn today?
Well, we've learned that rum comes in multiple shapes. All of these bottles are shaped differently.
We picked Smith & Kross, Ziya, Mount Gay Black Barrel, Gosling's Black Seal, Plantation Signature Blend, Bacardi Maestro de Ron, and our sponsor, Myers Original Dark. Well, potential sponsor. Myers, if you're interested, let us know. We can flip the video around.
Or we can just say that we rated them in this order.
And until next time, drink responsibly.